Okay, good morning, everyone. I want to share, I hope everyone had a good public holiday yesterday, a good rest. And of course, we're in the final quarter now of 2018. The last 3 months. It's crazy, isn't it? It feels like just a moment ago that we had only just started the year, and yet here we are approaching its conclusion. It's frightening how fast time goes. Um, as I look at the different activities in our business and the things that we focus on, the things that we struggle with, and the things that we'd like to see happen in our organizations, one thing really stands supreme as to what could be the greatest, most aspirational activity to see happening in our business. And of course, that is duplication. Because if others are working in our business, it means we aren't the only one doing all the heavy lifting. The load is being shared. It means when I go to bed at night, someone else in some other part of my business around the world is giving a presentation, doing a product demonstration, making a sale, and you wake up in the morning, your sales volume's gone up, and life looks great. It's nice when that happens, isn't it? But of course, the challenge is, for so many, how do I get duplication happening? And critically, and this is the point that I want to address today, when do you believe duplication really begins? Now, I want to share an insight. You'll have seen it in your own business, perhaps. I'm confident that you should have if you've been working in your business. If you haven't noticed it, it's either you're amazing because you're doing everything right, or you're not working, because most people experience this. Have you noticed that a lot of people that get recruited into your organization, that a good number of them actually maybe place an order and then do nothing? You've seen that happen, and you go, all that work that goes into building a contact list, and we've talked about it, haven't we, about 5 to 12 contacts in order to get someone to a yes, the follow-up, the presentations, the meetings that we put on, all the events. We do all of that groundwork, all of that preparation to bring them in, and then we champion the fact that they've signed the agreement and we've got someone that joins the business. They place an order and then they stop and do nothing. Or worse, they join the business and they don't even place an order. Yeah, we've seen that happen too, right? So here's the deal. It's my belief that duplication begins before they've even signed the agreement. It's in those 5 to 12 contacts that we have with our potential consultants where duplication or the seeds of duplication are already planted. So that when they join on day one, it's really important to recognize that they've got the potential to get to executive in the first month, get some retail bonuses in their pocket straight away, be on track for an entrepreneur club or whatever it might be, so that they have a really strong, fast start because they understand all of that activity and requirement before they've even begun in the business. And that's an exciting way to start someone, because when they understand that we're leading with our vision, that we're building something that's bigger than ourselves, that they are building something bigger than themselves, when they connect with that and they get started, the power of that means that they start so much stronger. Yeah? Does that make sense? So I want to share with you some things that we can do to help people get started stronger when we sign people up, so that we can have duplication happen quicker, so that we can help people stick around, we can get a greater sense of engagement, retention, and activation with the people that join our business. So I'm not going to sneeze. I might sneeze in just a second. It's coming and going on me. Okay, so I want to share with you some things that we can do to help that process really kickstart strong. The first, of course, like I said, is in the recruitment process, be stronger in sharing our vision with the prospects that we're talking to. We are so confident, for the majority of us in Nikken, in talking about the product, in sharing product testimonials, in giving product demonstrations, and what have you. But we don't always do what we need to when it comes to promoting or championing, advocating the business opportunity. In fact, it's often been my observation in putting together business strategies from a commercial perspective, that whatever I think will be required to get me from here to here, whatever I think it takes, it often requires that. Yeah. So sometimes I think it needs 3 steps to get me from A to C. Actually, sometimes it requires 6 or maybe even 9. So if you're looking to really promote the business with confidence, what I would say is whatever you think you're saying or doing that shows confidence, double it. Do it twice as much. And there is reason for that, because sometimes we underestimate just how much people need to feel in order to be persuaded. Yeah. And that's because we're already persuaded. We're there already. And maybe we've been there for some time. So when someone's brand new and they are not persuaded, then emotionally, because that's what we're trying to do, emotionally, we need to do a lot more work. I heard an example the other day of someone talking about great salespeople know and understand that we need to connect on an emotional level. And they did use an example of a car salesman. I know it's not necessarily a great example to use a car salesman's tactics, but bear with me for just a moment, because it highlights a good point. The point that they were making was they understand that it takes emotion to make the decision. Yeah. And it's true, isn't it? To sign someone up and get them started, it takes emotion to get that moving. And so what they'll do is, rather than we'll go to a car yard, we'll walk around, we'll look around. But what they'll be inclined to do is say, oh, open the door. Why don't you just take a seat, sit down, see how it feels? And what they're doing there isn't just making sure that you go, oh, it's comfy. You feel yourself behind the wheel of the car. You go, oh, it's nice. Oh, it's got that nice new car smell. Everyone loves the new car smell. Why don't you just turn the engine on? Listen to how it purrs. Oh, doesn't that feel great? Doesn't it sound great? All of a sudden, well, why don't we just jump in and go for a drive? And what are they doing there? They're appealing to your emotions. Yeah, because before you know it, it's your emotions that are making the decision. I think it's important to highlight that when we're talking about the business, we want to appeal to people's emotions and do it far more than what we expect we should do, because we're already persuaded ourselves and they are not. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. When they do get started, so that's kind of leading from the prospecting side, we help them get started. They understand what we're working towards. I always try to encourage them, to help them see, if you want to get started strong, we should go for you being an executive in your first month. If you can do that, I can help you, and I can guarantee you that you're going to earn income straight away. You're going to get retail profit in your pocket straight away, and you're going to get a rank advancement in your first month. I can show you how to do that. That's built into the process, so that before they even join, they're already looking for people to sign up. They're already looking for customers. They're already looking for ways to get started enthusiastically. Potentially they're even bringing people to their first meeting before they've even joined. And that, talk about locking someone in. Can you imagine what it feels like when a prospect brings a prospect to a meeting? And the prospect says, yes, they're interested. You've immediately built depth in your organization. And I've seen that happen. And it creates and it builds a lot of excitement. I like what you've put there, Michelle. How does that feel? Yeah, we've got to emphasize the feelings. Really, really critical. So now let's move on to what we do to help them get started when they join, because it's, like I said, it's in the prospecting and first 30 days where duplication is paramount to really kickstart. So we've emphasized the message, the vision. We want to show them how they can get started strong straight away. We're doubling our efforts in emphasizing the feelings and the value of the opportunity, so that they want to start strong and get to executive in their first month. That means when they get started, we've got our work cut out for us. We've got some stuff to do here. So one of the things that we want to make sure that we do is book a getting started appointment with them straight away within the first 24, 48 hours. So that as soon as they've joined, you can sit down with them, ideally the next day, and help them understand how to get started strong. What does that mean in my getting started visit with them? They can come to my house. I can go to theirs. If there isn't the location proximity, we can do it online, of course, but we want to recommend the best kits for them to start with as they're joining. Are they going to start with the water kit, the sleep kit, the energy pack? We want to walk them through that, help them understand the best pack for their needs, for their goals, and so on. We want to walk them through the website, help them become familiar with what the website looks like, how they can use it, how they can place orders, what tools are available in the back office, and of course, what tools are available within the organization. And we've got multiple tools here, haven't we, across the board with the Royal Alliance, with Magnetic Leaders, with Pathfinders.biz. We've got different leaders offering different strengths that can give them tools that they can plug in and connect with to assist them in their organization and getting going. So you want to help them understand how to get started, how to place their first order, what the best pack should look like for them, familiarize them with the resources that they've got, let them see the contact details in the back office of the company. So if they need to call distributor services, they're able to do that comfortably as well. Make sure that they've got your contact details and make sure that they've got your upline's contact details. It's always good to introduce them to their upline. I think that's a great thing to do so that they can feel like they're a part of the team. A part of that process as well in that getting started appointment is get them dreaming. It's really, really important. And we've started that process prior to them joining, which is why they've signed up as a consultant. But we want to start to entrench this even further. Help build the vision so that we can create the right plans. When we can understand what their vision is for their business, then we know how to build their business plan in order to accommodate their goals. Yeah. Their business plan may vary from person to person, but if they're wanting to really get duplication and they want to really grow fast and they're enthusiastic, you want to make sure that you're integrating entrepreneur clubs, introduce them to Team Kaizen, introduce them to all of the Pinnacle Prize, all of the different annual incentives that Nikken's put together, all of the different ways that they can maximize their income so that they can get there sooner rather than later. Another thing that's really good is as they place their first order, and I would encourage you to, if you're with them on that getting started appointment straight away, and they haven't placed their order the day before, it's great if you can encourage them to be placing that order, and maybe you can help walk them through that process, be with them when they place that first order so that they're familiar with it. What I do like to do is suggest that they text me when their order arrives. Let's make their first order a big deal, right? I think that's really important. And I'll tell you why, because we're now in the world of social media and online marketing. And first of all, it's great for us to celebrate. They've received their first order. Exciting. Tell me what it feels like, what's it like, how you're enjoying it, and congratulations. And it's an opportunity for us to give them some immediate recognition. So I think that's great to do first off. The other thing that I would encourage them to do in getting started is to maybe do a live recording of them opening up their first their first order so they can share it online. Because then as they share it online, immediately they're exposing their contact list on Facebook to their new business. And people can start the conversation. And then what it does is it then begins a brand new conversation. Oh, what is it you're opening up there? What is it you've just bought? What is it? And they can start to have that interaction, that dialogue. And I've found that can be really a lot of fun when people start to record online them opening up their goodies for the first time and then showcasing it to others. It initiates conversation and it gets potentially some of those first few contacts with potential customers or potential prospects. It gets that conversation going and gets the ball rolling. And it does it in such a natural and authentic way, which I think is a lot of fun. On that subject of social media, what is also worthwhile doing is encouraging them as they start their business to clean up their social media accounts. What do I mean by that? If they're going to be building online, and I hope many of us are integrating some online activities in the way that we build our business, people do check you out. So if we've been ranting negatively, for example, and complaining about politics or complaining about, you know, whatever it might be at our local source, something that's gone wrong, and they see us as a negative person, they're not going to be interested when we're reaching out and trying to be Mr. or Mrs. Positive with our health and wellness opportunity. Likewise, if we've got photographs that were shared online that are not becoming of a professional or don't represent our brand very well, we might want to consider deleting them and changing it up. I have found, both in this instance and as an employer, when people reach out to me, because of course we get prospected too, right? When people reach out to me, I always go onto their social media accounts and check them out. And when I'm reaching out to others, I'm checking them out sometimes before I reach out to them. Yeah, and when people have come to me for jobs, I've always known what they look like, what their social media behavior is like before they come in for the interview. And some people don't even get to the interview as a consequence. So really important point to consider. Our lives are very public now. So as people come into the business, remember our social media appearance is a reflection of our personal brand. And we've always been taught that people buy into us more than they buy into the company. Yeah. So really important that we represent ourselves and our brand properly. Okay. So moving on from that, what we want to do is help them in that first visit. We want to help them understand how to place an order, what their tools are, what their resources are. We've introduced them to the upline, given them contact details. We want to also make sure that they understand what the critical daily activities are in their business. This is really, really important. They need to understand that they are adding new people to their list every day, that they're doing the follow-up on a timely basis, that we're organizing ABCs, and that we're involved and we're available for that. I think that's really important that we can start doing that together sooner rather than later. And one thing that I like to do is be available to lead with the ABC, then do it together with them, and then let them do it where I'm the backup, so that by the end of the first 30 days, they are confident enough to do it themselves. So that it's almost like an exchanging of the baton, isn't it? Like a relay race. I'm going to do it all for you first. You get to watch how I do it. You see the effective example of the presentation. I'm passing the baton over to you. For a moment, we're both holding it at the same time. Yeah, and then you've got a hold of it. I let go. You're running with it now, and then off we go. And I'm still available, of course, but they know how to lead and run independently. We want to get them to that point at the end of the first 30 days, so that at the end of 30 days, we can say they've registered some customers, they've placed their first order, they've got someone signed up, they've had ABCs done with them by me, they know how to do them themselves, and they're on their way and they're feeling confident to get going. When we've got that underway after 30 days, then I think we're moving in the right direction. So another point that I would encourage as well is to book in some appointments with them. It can be the ABCs, of course, like I talked about, but also encourage them in this process to get to your regional meetings. If we've got these launch meetings that are taking place, we want to make sure that they're participating and engaged in that, bring them along. I think that really helps to see them coming along to that. Let's do a better job in inviting them to attend these meetings and participating in those, so that we can get those numbers up. Introduce them to the wider Nikken family. Again, I think it's important that we introduce them to the team, encourage them to be coachable and to be teachable. And I think, again, if they can be a part of the wider team network, that will give them reason there, I think, to be more coachable and teachable as well. My last couple of points here that I think are really important for us as well is we've got to understand the law of attraction and how this works in that first 30 days. And what I would emphasize here is that old saying that, well, first of all, the law of attraction isn't that we sit on our couch and we think good thoughts and we wait for good things to fall into our lap. That's not how the law of attraction works, is it? What the law of attraction is we sow a thought, we reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a destiny. Yeah, it kind of works in that sequence. So I think we want to work with that in mind, that if we think more positively, if we act with more confidence, if we have more optimism and more enthusiasm, and we work with more boldness, and we have that mindset right in the activities that we're doing, when we are connecting with these people in the first 30 days as intimately as I've suggested, then we're going to have a very positive influence for good in their business, which will lead to a greater sense of duplication. We want to be very, very available to them in those first 30 days. We want to be available thereafter, of course, but what I'm stressing is the first 30 days are essential. There is so much work that precedes the signing up of a new distributor. Like I said, building contact lists, doing those uncomfortable phone calls that I know so many people don't like doing the emails, extending the invitations, maybe dealing with objections, resolving concerns. Maybe it's taken a long time to build the rapport, inviting them to meetings. We're doing all of these types of things that we've gone through, and yet we still have that conversion rate of when they join, it's still so small where they actually engage and do the right thing. And that's often because what I've talked about today doesn't quite happen in the volume that it should. If we can, with greater optimism, with greater enthusiasm, and with more connectivity, be upfront and personal with these people in the prospecting phase, in this messaging, let them know that you're with them all the way through so that they can feel confident that they're starting strong, and then be with them all the way through. Because like I said, the celebration begins when they place their first order. That's what we champion. We don't celebrate when they get their first rank advancement. There should have been a multitude of celebrations that took place before then. So let them know we want to cheer you and congratulate you when you place your first order. So let's find out what's the best one for you. Let's make a note of that. Let's get that in. Let me show you how you get that done. And when it arrives, text me so I can cheer and celebrate. What do you think? In fact, what would be great, why don't you record yourself, broadcast this as you open it up and show it on Facebook so that everyone in your team, in your potential team, will see that you've just started something new, and they can check it out and see your excitement live. Something about that is really invigorating. And there is some great potential there for good as we do that. So that's my recommendations. Here are some of my thoughts today on what we can do to really make a difference in getting duplication happening with greater strength and greater force for good. I hope this has been helpful. I've seen a few people taking notes, and again, it has been recorded. Please share this with your teams because of all the questions that I get asked, perhaps one of the most common is around getting started stronger. People want to know how to do a better job of getting someone started right. And I think this is a subject we can all do much better at teaching, training at, and leading from the front on. And I include myself in that. So thank you all very much, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.